What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another gem filled video. You guys know I always provide you with the gems. Okay, so we're just going to be covering some price action on NAS today, give you guys some information about NAS, and we'll just overall talk about some of the opportunities that you could have caught this week so far on NAS. It is Friday the 20th of October, so today is the end of the week. And we're just going to talk about some opportunities on NAS. I'm going to explain all the price action, everything like that, and give you guys some gems and how to find these areas for yourself when you're on your charts and you're trading for yourself, right? So we're just going to go through the thought process and everything like that for a little bit. So looking at NAS right now, let's start it off right here. So basically, I'm right now bearish on NAS. Why? Because if we kind of zoom out a little bit, we know on the higher time frame we are in this like huge bullish leg, right? We do know we have this huge bullish move to the upside, seeing all this bullish momentum on NAS. All right, cool. That's from like the beginning of 2023. So now we're in the end of 2023, which is the fourth quarter. So what's happening on the fourth quarter. We understand the market needs retracements and everything like that. So there's always going to be some type of pullback in the markets. Understand that, okay? Price will most of the time will always correct itself, whether it takes weeks, whether it takes days, hours, months, it doesn't matter, but price will always correct itself, okay? Understand that orders need to be mitigated at some point. So with that being said, why am I on a bearish sentiment with NAS right now? Well, this is the first indication right here. Once we invalidated this zone right here, which is a reaccumulation, I'm not going to talk about Wyckoff in this video. I'm not going to try to explain Wyckoff, but if you know Wyckoff, this is a reaccumulation. If you don't know Wyckoff, then I would suggest you go to another video of mine where I talk about supply and demand and Wyckoff and all that stuff, or you can join our mentorship, the community, if you're interested, right? But reaccumulation, right, this is a valid area of demand. We know that buyers got into the market here. So once this area gets invalidated, that puts me on a bearish sentiment for NAS. So we had this high, make this low. You can see we retrace back up, back into supply points, right? Since this area is what invalidated here, these areas become supply, right? Okay, so market makes a new low, we go higher and we make a new low. Okay, cool. So what does that mean? Right now, we're holding our bearish sentiment from these highs here to this low. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit. That was on the 4-hour time frame. So let's zoom in a little bit and let's talk about the price action so far. So we can see that for most of October, NAS was retracing. You can see that we engineered liquidity here, and we went towards the upside. Now, as NAS was going towards the upside, you can see we're forming reaccumulations, right? Reaccumulations is just buyers getting into the market, okay? And what do you see that happens as soon as we get into our supply point, which is all the way up here, these areas? If you understand Wyckoff, I'm going to use it a little bit more. We have a distro and we have a redistro. These two areas right here are valid areas of supply. Valid area of supply means these ways where sellers came in to get the markets to make the new low, right? So as soon as the market completes that objective and we make that new low, of course, we're going to see that corrective price action. The market is going to come back and try to come back and mitigate these orders. You can see I drew this line out, and basically this line is the opening of this area right here. You can see this area right here, this buy up, and then after that the market kind of sold down. So this is the last kind of area where buyers got in, and you can see that sellers came in and took over. So this is a buy to sell. If you guys understand that, it's basically buyers or sellers putting in buy orders to manipulate liquidity, right? Manipulate liquidity, and then they're going to sell the market. So what that means is once this market takes off like this, most likely than not, they're going to come back to these areas where they bought the market to mitigate their orders. Okay. Most people know that as like an order block, or there's a lot of names for it, but look at what happens when the market comes back to these areas. So the first thing that we identified, and we're talking about the price action now. The first thing we identified is, like I said before, the market was creating demand zones as we was buying towards the upside. So reaccumulation, right? It's no surprise, guys. So as soon as the market reaches this area here, you can see we start to form a distribution. We start to form this supply, and most people see it as like a consolidation, right? But all this is, right, Wyckoff can be seen like it's a consolidation, but all this is sellers filling in orders, right? They're filling in sell orders. They're trying to fill in sell orders to sell the market. So how do we validate that sell orders actually got into the market? Here it is right here. You can see this impulsive move to the downside, right? And that was an ugly drawing. Let me redraw that for you guys. But yeah, this impulsive move to the downside right here, and the fact that we invalidated this latest point of demand is what confirmed to say, hey, okay, sellers are now back in the market. Okay, that's how we confirm that as soon as we get into this area. Because on the bigger time frame, what did I do? We did the same thing, right? Once we invalidated here, I confirmed that, hey, okay, this is a seller's market on the higher time frame. So on the lower time frame, it's the same. You wait for these areas to get invalidated, and you're like, okay, now sellers is interested, because you can see this huge impulsive move. And here you can see we have this long move to the downside that took out this area, right? So it's the same thing on the higher time frame that is on the lower time frame. So I had a first area, which was my point of interest, which was up here, that I wanted us to get to for me to sell it down, but we didn't get that far, right? The market didn't retrace back that far. And you can see what we did here is we engineered some liquidity, and you can see the market, well, the institutions rated these highs, and then we created another impulsive move to the downside. Well, so what does that mean to me? These impulsive moves is very important, guys, especially when we have a rate of liquidity, the impulsive move. What does that mean? Only sellers, only true institutions can create these type of impulsive moves. So when I see these impulsive moves, I look for the origin, which was up here. And guess what? This also had more confirmation because we rated liquidity, and it is during equities open. If you don't know what equities open, that is 9:30. That is when the stock market is opening. That's when New York is opening. Okay, so that makes this even more confirmed, right? When I'm looking for my points of interest and my supply and demand zones, such as this, I usually relate to this as a point of interest, as a POI right here. And simply what that is it's this area that I'm expecting the market to give me a reaction from. So basically what that means is once the market comes into this area, I'm expecting reactions. And once I start seeing those reactions, I start seeing the market give me like selling candles inside of this, or like a distro or something, like some type of consolidation that confirms that, hey, the market is potentially want to sell from this point of interest. Then that's when I get in and target a new low or target something like that. That's simply what a POI is, right? But so this POI, the confirmations of it is we had an impulsive move. We can see that we have imbalances that the market left over, which is further confirming that sellers got into here. And we have liquidation. We have the market taking out liquidity, and it is equities open, which means we are during the right time, which means this must have been some type of institution because of the timing, right? The timing that it happened and the impulsive move and everything like that. So I actually sent out this area earlier in the week. Okay, I actually sent out this area earlier in the week on my Instagram, and I know a lot of people that took trades from it from my Instagram for free, right? So follow my Instagram. I will be sending out my areas from time to time. All right, so as soon as the market got in here, I did have a limit order on this. I just had a limit order placed on this area by itself. But just let's not talk about the limit order. What other entries could we have scaled in? So after you're seeing this market is creating this kind of reactions from the market, right? This day ended out. I don't trade Asian session, but here's what's important about Asian session. I don't trade Asian session, but I usually always will look at Asian session. So I'm gonna go scaling even more to give you more entries that you could have taken. So I mean, the first entry could have been the most basic entry, which is just setting a sell limit out for this area and just holding until we get to this low. Or you could have just scaled in entries as we were giving these rejections, and you could have held till we got to these low with your stop loss above this high. Right now, for more entries on a lower time frame, if we scale in, here it is right here. And you guys can see that I'm using the same thing. You're gonna see the same thing happen over and over again. And what does that mean? All right, so here's Asian session. You can see Asian session is usually slow, okay, especially for NAS and the indices because the market's not open. So it's always gonna be, Asian session is always gonna look this slow. All right, but as soon as London session opens, you can see the market goes straight up and we take out these highs, Asian session highs, right? So what is that? Asian session usually is a pool of liquidity from the markets. Usually you'll see London session take out liquidity, right? and that liquidity is going to be either Asian session highs or Asian session lows. In this case, we want Asian session highs to be rated because we want the market to go lower. Does that make sense? In order for the market to go lower, we want them to induce buyers. So what does that mean? Creating this huge impulse to the upside, rating liquidity, is inducing buyers. Okay, once we induce buyers, because we need the opposite side to sell, right? We need buyers in order to sell, right? That is the basic concepts of trading, right? There has to be somebody else on the opposite side of your trade. There's always somebody else on the opposite side of your trade, and sometimes we need that liquidity, that other side, to be able to fill orders, right? So they create an impulsive move to the upside, taking out Asian highs. And then after that, what's the confirmation we need? The break of this low, that change of character. Once we have that change of character, all we can do now, since we already are in a huge point of interest, we don't need any more confirmations. This confirmation on lower time frame is all we need with the liquidity rate above these highs. Let me put that back in. With the liquidity rate above these highs, we see this manipulation to these highs, that inducement. Now we can just take entries. So as soon as the market is retracing back inside of this manipulation, you have entries here. You could have taken entry off of these areas. Once you start seeing these rejections right here, these candles, these engulfing candles, boom, there's your entry. Stop loss above this high. Now you're not taking the bigger area, you're taking this area because we already reacted here and we're already in an area that we're expecting the market to sell from anyways. Okay, so boom, there's an entry that you could have taken all the way to this low. Okay, those are the entries that you could have caught from this area. And as you can see, the market ended up coming back, and the market came back into the same zone, and we traded down again, even more. Okay, so that goes to show that sellers are completely in control of this market. So I mean, this becomes another huge area. Now I didn't scale into this because I couldn't find like the exact point of interest, but that becomes another area the market comes to, reacts from here, and we're just continue selling off. This is the current market right now, and I'm looking for us to react from here. Honestly, I am expecting us to take out these liquidity points right here. If you're still watching NAS, if NAS is still in a good area that you could sell it, I'm honestly waiting for us to sell from here. Most likely than not, I'm going to be looking for some shorts into this area. I would rather go for the shorts, guys. Don't keep. I was expecting this area for a reaction. I'm not looking for this area for like a entry to take it higher. So just understand that. Okay, so that is the NAS price action that I wanted to break down for you guys. Hopefully you guys took something from this, and you guys, kind of, maybe something clicked that, wasn't clicking before, and maybe I helped you with something, right? So that is how I looked at NAS. That is how I analyzed NAS. It's way more simpler than it may look, guys. It's really simple. Once you understand these terms that I'm using, I know a lot of you guys hear all these different terms that I'm using. They're not complicated, trust me. Once you learn these terms, it's really simple. Okay, trust me. If you need more advanced information, I would suggest you join our community. We have a whole bunch of traders. You got my mentorship that you could take, and then you have a whole bunch of other traders that trades just like us, and we're here to help you. Okay, the terms is not difficult. The way we trade is not difficult. It's basically looking for manipulations, looking for those points of interest, and then getting in on lower time frame. That's a basic breakdown of it. And if you guys are interested, you can join below. Other than that, hopefully this helped you guys out. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.